At long last, these are the Geminis coming round to grid up, and this is going to be a pretty spectacular race, as I said before. 6 laps, and this is the way they shape up at the head of the grid. Ray Vincent is on pole position in car 35, and showing the front row, we've got David Grose and Steve Pittman. The second row, Terry Quartley and Garry Quartley. Then Troy Dunstan and Jeff Gagan. Todd Wanless follows in position number 8, then Rob Clifford and Brad Zacher, followed by Scott Jacob and Trevor Llewellyn. They are the top 12 in a field of 34, no less. Terry Quartley is the leader of this series up here in Queensland, long associated with motorsport, previously in Formula V's, been competing in this series here since its inception, and has been very, very successful. And yes, if you're asking the question, he is related to the late Reg Quartley, comedian. There he is there, just behind the yellow Gemini. And a very successful series this has been in Queensland over the past several years. Starter standing by to press the button for the green light here at Surfers Paradise Raceway. There he goes. Racing at long last in the Gemini series at Surfers Paradise, and away they go. A very even start, the full field getting away cleanly and spearing down the bottom of the main straight towards the bridge and sweeping through the first corner. And it looks like David Grose has got the lead in car number 2, just ahead of Steve Pittman and Ray Vincent.
Well, Grose is certainly mixed up in it. I think he's dropped into second now, Wilco, as they plunge down to the right-hander at IPEC. Remember the race we had with these cars back at Lakeside? Look at the jostling back there in third position. Car number 35, Ray Vincent, getting away very, very well, and there is traffic all over the place. There's car number 32 mixed up in amongst the bunch, and that's Paul Morris.
Troy Dunstan, car number 3, also in there, as is Terry Quartley, the series leader. But the top 2 are really flying from the start. You're right, Quartley, not Quartley, Grose there in second place behind Ray Vincent. So the pole marker making the pace here in the opening lap through Kelly Springfield's corner. Big crowds there enjoying this kind of racing.
They qualified a little underneath the lap record. No, should I say a little over the lap record, so track conditions didn't suit these cars yesterday. Look at the traffic in there. There would be cars in mirrors all over the place as one of them goes out in the grass. It would be so hard to concentrate and retain your racing line and at the same time try and deal with these other guys. Nose-to-tail battle for the lead. Ray Vincent being pursued by David Grose. There's car number 5 in there, that's Scott Jacob in the 2-door hardtop version. Open to 2 different Geminis, same specifications but different body shapes, the 4-door sedan and the 2-door hardtop, and it's the hardtops that have the top 4 or 5 positions at the moment. And Vincent getting some real hurry up from Grose in car number 2. These guys were involved in an absolutely fantastic battle at Lakeside earlier in the year when we're up for the Touring Car Championship.
This is the first time I've ever seen these Geminis get through one lap of a race incident-free. They're all still out there and running.
They don't need a race to have a bit of trouble either on the track, Garry. Yesterday in qualifying, Garry Quartley went belly up in his particular model, but I see he's back out there. I don't know whether they've done a hasty repair job or if they've wheeled out a replacement.
very, very cheap form of motor racing too, as David Grose gets right in behind Vincent once more. In fact, you just get the feeling there's going to be a manoeuvre here. For some reason, Vincent acknowledges a flag that time, so perhaps there's been some strife at the back of the pack with the right-hander up at Kelly Springfield, which incidentally are the brand of tyres on these cars. They all have the same type of tyre. And some of the boys reckon this morning that they can actually go racing for about $3,000 a year. Now, apparently there has been some drama back in the pack. Kevin Furnell on our Shell Ultra replay. Car number 77 at IPEC corner gets very out of shape. This is at the bottom of the very far straight here at Surfers Paradise. Oh, I'll have another go. Lock to lock. No, I'll try the other lock. What is he doing?
I don't know, but Mozart had the answer to this.
That one will be hard to pull back.
It's perpetual motion. He's still going.
Like a pendulum, side to side. Finally, he's off on the infield.
There's just a little bit of brute force involved in that one. I think he's just overcorrecting slightly. David Grose, meanwhile, challenges for the lead. Pokes his nose through on the inside as he rushes down to IPEC corner. Well, Furnell gets the Man of the Match award from me. That was fantastic, that one. He probably wouldn't agree, no doubt. So Vincent now with about a car and a half gap. And Grose using the slipstream to just close the gap a little.
They've cleared away this pair from the rest of the field. The action thick and fast behind them, but they might be losing touch with the top two, I think, at this stage.
Might be a swab after this, Garry.
Yeah. Troy Dunstan up into third position, coming off sixth spot on the grid. Good performance by him. But these two, car 35, Ray Vincent, and car 2, David Grose, nose to tail right from the outset of this race. Big crowd there on the hill in the background. Look at the space between second and third, would you? And
that is the biggest gap I've ever seen in Queensland Gemini racing. It's an amazing gap.
And they've given Troy Dunstan the flick. I think he no longer holds down third spot. It's car number 11, Garry QUARTLY. Past the halfway mark in the race, so Garry QUARTLY moves up and takes over third spot. But with a big job, not only on his part, but the rest of them back in the pack to make any ground on the front-running pair.
Well, David Grose flinging everything at the leader at the moment, trying every which way. Had a bit of a look on the outside that time, but unfortunately ran out of black stuff, so he's had to switch to the other side of the road. Vincent seems to be driving very calmly at the moment, spending a lot of time looking in his rear view mirror. These cars are based on what we call Group E, or production car regulations. There are very few modifications made. Brake pads, shock absorbers, roll cage, safety harness, fire extinguisher. That's about it. Beyond that, they are a Gemini as you drive on the road. In fact, some of these guys turn up at the race meetings with number plates on. They tape up the numbers on the doors and away they go.
Well, it'll be a big result here if Grose can get by, take the lead and win this race, because he's running second in the series up here. And with Terry QUARTLY not figuring in the finish, at least not at this stage anyway, Grose could do himself a lot of good on the point score if he can come in first.
Vincent doing a great job though, very smooth, well in control. Grose will have to work very hard to get him.
They're actually well-behaved little cars, aren't they, Peter? We're not talking about heaps of horsepower or a car with great refinements in suspension or rubber, but actually they hang on well. Grose now has a look on the inside. This might be the break that he needs. The two of them foxing as they go down to the Dunlop Bridge, and David Grose goes through on the inside, car number 2. And Vincent's car getting a little shaky, or indeed he was making it a little shaky. Some brave braking as they hit the bottom part of the course. It's hard to imagine that only a week ago here, Garry, 30 inches of rain and the track virtually underwater.
Well, done a magnificent job to get it back into racing order, not just the track itself, but the infield, the parking areas, the spectator areas, and a terrific job. And that's exactly what David Grose is going to have to do to win this race from here. Lap and a half remaining, with Ray Vincent having led through the first 3.5 laps. Alex Hill. And they both deserve one after the effort they've put in this race. The rest of them are out of sight.
Grose, a local real estate developer, can probably check on some of his investments as he drives down the straight.
There's time enough for the guy in third place to do that, because he's a country mile behind the leaders at the moment. Quartly comes out of the right-hander at Nissan and onto the straight. It would seem an awfully long way down that straight in a Gemini. And I'll tell you what, at the head of the pack, Vincent's struck back.
They're on their last lap. And Vincent is in front. So after a brief moment of glory, Grose now with all the hard work to do. He wants to greet the checkered flag first, but Vincent very determined not to let that happen. And these two have been going at it hammer and tongs since the start of the race. Grose trying the outside, ducking back in again, can't find any way through there. And I think you'll find that Ray Vincent will shut the gate on him every way he turns from here to the finish. Grose has another go. No. Can't get much closer.
Oh, goodness me. Up on the outside, this will be a brave manoeuvre if he can pull it off.
They've done a good job, these two. They've raced very hard, but they haven't really been swallowing too much paintwork.
Inevitably, when I say that, that's when all the carnage breaks out. I was going to point that out earlier. They are doing a great job. Nose to tail, literally rubbing door handles on occasions, and you're quite right. Nothing coming to grief at this stage, just good, clean, close racing as they make their way down to this, and now it's a run to the straight. Vincent might just hang on.
Okay, Ray Vincent in front. David Grose, the man who really wants the points. These two have had the race between them since the time it started 6 laps ago. And they're coming down now on the last final straightaway, and it's Vincent in front, Grose tucked in behind. He'll have to pull out and have a go here in a minute because they're getting down to the checkered flag. He cannot make it. Vincent wins it by about 3/4 of a car length. David Grose takes second place, and we can pause for a cup of tea while we wait for third to come in. Car 20 gets it, and I think you'll find that that's Terry Quartly.
Form finish for the Quartlys.
Well, that's a big finish for Terry Quartly to get up and run third, and of course helps to protect his position as the series leader in the Quality Inns Gemini series up here in Queensland. But you can't take anything away from the winner, Ray Vincent. He did it the hard way, and he's got the points. David Grose finishing in second place, and Terry Quartly third on the Castrol scoreboard.
Kevin Furnell on our shell for replay. Car number 77 at IPEC corner gets very out of shape. This is at the bottom of the very far straight here at Surfers Paradise. Oh, I'll have another go. Lock to lock. No, I'll try the other lock. What is he doing?
I don't know, but Mozart had the answer to this.
That one will be hard to pull back.
It's perpetual motion. He's still going.
Like a pendulum, side to side. Finally, he's up on the infield.
There's just a little bit of brute force involved in that one. I think he's just overcorrecting slightly.